Hello, good morning. Today is Saturday. I've had a really busy week at work and now I'm finally in my sewing room again. I haven't been in here for the past week because I've had too much to do, and I was here last time when I showed you everything I made in March, and I have been in here just to mend a pair of tights. That's like all of the sewing I've done this week, I think. But now it's finally the weekend, I have some time off, and this morning I spent crocheting. So I haven't been crocheting for the past, since I was like 15 or something, more than 10 years ago. And I suddenly, just out of nowhere, got the urge to start crocheting again. I would love to do a larger project, like a cardigan or a sweater or something, but I thought I would start with an easy granny square. I found a tutorial on YouTube, I will link to it below, and she was making these squares to make a blanket, and it went quite well. So now I'm like, I can do this, I can make a cardigan. I've never done, I've done hats and scarves and stuff. I have also ordered some needles for my cover stitch. This is for overlock and serger, but I think they're also gonna work for cover stitch, because when I searched for cover stitch needles, these ones came up. So I'm gonna change out the needles on the cover stitch, and hopefully I will be able to hem all of the jersey projects I showed you in my last video, because my cover stitch has been acting up. It's skipping stitches and the seams just unravel. So I'm gonna experiment a bit, and hopefully today I'm gonna be able to finish all of those knit projects. I also ordered a invisible zipper foot for my machine, and I hope this is gonna make it easier to put in invisible zippers. I usually just use a normal zipper foot to put invisible zips. It's not so easy, but it works. So you don't necessarily need a invisible zipper foot, but it makes it a lot easier. So yeah, as you will notice, this video is a bit different. I thought I would just take you along for like a studio vlog, just showing you everything I do in my studio. So hopefully I will get some hemming done on my cover stitch, and I also have some samples to make for my next pattern, which I shared about last week. I'm working on a leggings pattern with a few different views, and I'm wearing today, I have glasses on. I have really bad sight on a long distance, so I see really clearly when I look at my phone or reading, but to see further away I need the glasses now. So I had them a couple of weeks and I see great. So that's nice. And I'm wearing my Era top, which I made a couple of videos back. And this is a nice, just hanging around the studio top. Really comfortable. And this is the weather we're having right now in Stockholm. Snowstorm. No, not really a snowstorm, but it's been snowing for a few days now, even though it's April. Okay, so this was quite an easy change. I just switched out the needles and now the seam is perfect. So, highly recommend. So I'm gonna show you. This is what the seam looked like before. As you can see here, it skipped a stitch, which means it kind of unravels like that. Yeah, and you can see on the back side here. So this was the problem. And now that I switched out the needle, the seam looks like this here. And that's the back side. So happy! I thought I was gonna have to do some more changes, but it seems like I just had really old needles in my cover stitch. Yay! So now I can go ahead and hem all of my jersey garments that I didn't hem earlier. Hello! Today is Sunday and yeah, I had a slow morning today too. I've just been doing nothing, drinking tea, and now I got back into my studio. It's really nice weather today, it's kind of sunny and the snow has melted, so a little bit more spring in the air, which is really nice. I managed to hem all of the jersey garments yesterday. I was a bit too cocky about the cover stitch. When I went to kind of secure all of the loose threads afterwards, I noticed some more skipped stitches, so the problem is not entirely solved now with the new needles. I might have to experiment a bit more, but it's a lot better than it was before, so at least some of it was the needle problem. Yeah, so now I have 4 projects, 3 wanted tees, and then the dress for work, just a sample. I'm gonna film a bit sort of a tutorial, just showing you how I made the changes to my Anna bodice so it would fit better, because some of you guys were asking in my last video, so I thought I would just show a simple kind of walkthrough of the changes I made to the pattern, because some of you might find that helpful. So someone asked me on my latest video where I showed my makes for the month of March, and I made the by hand woven Anna dress, and I mentioned I did some changes to the bodice, so I changed the shoulder a bit, and I also transferred a bit of fullness from the armhole to the bust dart or the waist dart. And I thought I would just show you simply like this how I did it. This is roughly what the Anna body's front piece looks like, the pattern. So this is the center front, you cut it on fold, and then you have these darts here. So these are not darts with a pivot point, but they kind of fold and then create sort of a volume fullness over the bust. Yeah, and this is the cap sleeve, and that's the side seam. So I'm going to show you the toile I made. I chose the size that seemed to fit my measurements the closest. And I just used an old bed sheet, and I sewed up all of the seams except for one of the side seams, so I could easily put it on. So this is straight up the pattern without any changes. And when I tried it on, I decided I wanted to lower the neckline a bit, so that's this is including seam allowance. So without the seam allowance, it's only just like 1 centimeter. So I marked on my pattern piece 1 centimeter down, and then I kind of followed to make a new neckline shape like that. And since I didn't want to change the shoulder, inner point of the shoulder, I just created a new line. However, I thought the outer shoulder was a bit too long and also a bit too high. So here I didn't mark anything when I tried this on. I just, yeah, I kind of hold it like this when I tried it on, and that looked better. So I wanted to remove a bit of height and also a bit of length. So I measured down 1.5 centimeters from the outer shoulder point. And I drew a new shoulder line. And then I measured 1.5 centimeters from the corner here. Let's say that's, yeah, this looks a bit, this is not proportional at all. I just drew this freehand. So, and then I just took a French curve and drew a new line there. So this is my new shoulder point, the outer shoulder. I hope that makes sense. And then I just cut off here. So I'm going to show you. Another problem with the fit was I had a lot of fullness here in the armhole, and when I pinched it to see how much I wanted to remove, it was about 1 centimeter total. So if you pinch half a centimeter, then it's going to be 1 full centimeter once you fold it out, if you know what I mean. So let's say I want to remove this much. I'm just going to draw here. That would be 1 centimeter, but it's on the fold, so that would be 2 centimeter to remove. But for me, when I pinched it like this, the total ended up being like 1 centimeter. So roughly on the pattern piece where I pinched, you can see kind of when you're trying something on, you can see how the fabric folds and where it wants to lie, and that's your indication of the point where you want to remove or add something or create a fold in some way. And that was around here, let's say. And then I measured 1 centimeter total, so basically like that. And then in the middle of this pinch, I drew a line towards the waist dart, the closest one. So this is a line to be cut. And you also want to cut up the leg of your dart. The easiest to do when you have a normal dart with a point is to cut up the middle of the dart and meet at the dart pivot point. But for this pattern, which is a bit special in the darts, I just decided to go to this point here, because this is basically the pivot point, because these two ends of the seam lines here, that's the dart point, so that's why you want to go to here. And then you want to cut up almost to the point here, and from this side as well, almost to the point, so that you can rotate this piece freely. It's okay, a little bit more. It's still connected, but you can move it. So what we want to do here is make the two lines we drew meet, so that the total distance we are closing here is 1 centimeter. So this way we are removing some fullness from the armhole, but this fullness needs to go somewhere. So that's why we are opening up at the dart instead. So when I'm closing some fullness here, it's going to open up here. Now this dart is going to be a little bit larger than this one, which is okay. It's not going to be noticeable. But here we have a really weird shape. So I'm going to have to reshape the armhole shape. So I'm just going to need a bit of paper underneath. And generally when you create a new line, you want to go in the middle of your old lines. So what I mean is we have this outer line here. I can't just follow that one, because then I'm gonna add some width here. And I can't go follow this line, because then I'm gonna cut off all of the shoulder. And remember, this is our new shoulder point, so it's from here I'm drawing. So I'm just basically gonna make the points meet, so the outer shoulder point and the armhole depth. And that's the new line. And I'm also gonna put a bit of more paper underneath the dart. So here you can see we closed quite a bit more here, but the angles make it so this is really not such a big difference, so we don't really have to do any more adjustments to this. So the new dart leg is here to here, so the dart is a bit more wide. But since we haven't changed this measurement, the waist measurement is still going to be the same as before when we close the dart. So I'm going to cut out the changes. So the neckline is going to be a little bit lower, but still have the same shape of the curve. The shoulder, we have taken away some of the height in the shoulder and also some of the width. And then I'm going to cut through our new line, and here I can just cut it off. So that's the new shoulder I made, and also removed a bit of the fullness here. And I didn't do so much on the back piece, but I did do the shoulder change. So any seam that's going to meet another seam, so let's say the side seam or the shoulder, it needs to be changed on the back as well as the front. But I didn't reduce any fullness or do anything to the darts in the back. So that's all of the changes I made to my Anna bodice. hope that was helpful for those of you who asked. And if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments below. And now I'm going to cut out the sample of my new leggings pattern. I have made the updates, and now I want to kind of test if yeah, how the fit is now that I've made some updates. I'm gonna find the latest version of the pattern. I think I printed it out. And I'm gonna choose some fabric. Maybe I'm gonna continue using the owl fabric because I have a lot of it, and I don't really want to wear this as like an actual, yeah, I know it's kind of cute, but a bit too cute maybe. But I have a lot of it and it was really cheap, so I might use it just as a muslin fabric, toile fabric. So that's 2 front pieces and 2 back pieces. As I said, this is a leggings pattern that I have been working on like the past 6 months or something, because I've had so much other things to do. Yeah, so this is the shape. As you can see, they're really wide here at the bottom. I think they're going to turn out so nice. But I think I will end the vlog here, because now I have to edit all of the footage and schedule it for tomorrow. So if I film anymore, I won't have time to edit. So if you want more day-to-day updates on this pattern, I suggest you follow me on Instagram at @planpatterns and watch my stories over there. Let me know what you thought about this style of video, like more of a, I guess, studio vlog or just random things. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back next week with more of a sewing project or a tutorial. Until next time, happy sewing!